The glittering world of celebrity culture has always been a source of endless fascination for the general public, presenting a vivid landscape where luxury, privilege, and unimaginable wealth converge to create an almost surreal existence. For decades, audiences have watched from afar as Hollywood icons, reality television stars, and high-profile figures navigate their daily lives in a realm completely detached from the ordinary struggles of the average person. We see them attending exclusive galas, driving exotic sports cars, and retreating to palatial estates nestled in the hills of Southern California or private islands scattered across the globe. This constant exposure to the lifestyles of the rich and famous has fostered a deep, underlying curiosity about how these individuals manage their extraordinary realities, particularly when it comes to the complex dynamics of family life and the immense responsibility of raising the next generation. It raises profound and often polarizing questions about the nature of wealth, the values we instill in our youth, and the delicate balance between providing a comfortable life and fostering a genuine sense of gratitude, humility, and personal ambition. In an era dominated by social media and an unprecedented level of access into the private spheres of public figures, the actions and philosophies of celebrity parents are scrutinized like never before. The internet frequently ignites with intense debates over the boundaries of modern parenting, with critics and supporters alike dissecting every decision made by famous mothers and fathers as they attempt to shield their children from the distorting effects of immense privilege while simultaneously preparing them for an increasingly complicated world. It is within this highly charged atmosphere of public curiosity and constant judgment that a fascinating psychological and cultural phenomenon emerges, one that challenges our conventional understanding of parental duty and familial structure. As viewers and consumers of modern media, we are often left wondering whether the children of the ultra-wealthy are being set up for guaranteed success, or if the sheer abundance of resources surrounding them inadvertently strips away the vital motivation required to build character and resilience. This overarching dilemma forms the very backdrop of our story today, a narrative that dives deep into the unexpected and controversial choices made by those who live under the relentless glare of the spotlight. Before we delve into the intricate details of this unfolding story and examine the modern parenting philosophy that has captured the attention of millions worldwide, please take a brief moment to support our channel by subscribing, liking this video, and turning on notifications so you never miss our deep dives into the most compelling cultural conversations of our time. The specific intersection of travel, luxury, and family dynamics has recently become the center of an intense global conversation, sparking a massive wave of commentary across multiple media platforms. Travel itself has long been viewed as an ultimate status symbol within the upper echelons of society, an activity that effortlessly separates the truly affluent from the rest of the world through exclusive airport lounges, private terminals, and the coveted sanctuary of the first-class cabin. For the ordinary traveler, stepping onto a commercial airliner is often an exercise in patience, marked by long lines, cramped seating, and the collective endurance of a shared space. In stark contrast, the front of the aircraft represents an oasis of absolute comfort, where champagne flows freely, seats transform into fully flat beds, and every imaginable whim is catered to by attentive flight crews. This stark physical division within a single airplane serves as a perfect microcosm for the socioeconomic stratification of the modern world, a visual and experiential boundary that most people accept as a simple reality of commercial aviation. However, when this rigid boundary is intentionally introduced into the core structure of a single family unit during a shared journey, the psychological and societal implications become infinitely more complex and provocative. The core of this escalating public discussion revolves around the fundamental idea of what it means to earn one's place in the world, and whether children should automatically inherit the luxurious lifestyle achieved through the hard work and success of their parents. For generations, the traditional concept of inheritance and family legacy dictated that parental success was directly meant to benefit the offspring, providing them with a softer landing and an elevated starting point in life. Yet, a growing counter-movement among a distinct group of modern, self-made entrepreneurs and public figures suggests a radically different approach, one that prioritizes tough love, early independence, and the deliberate withholding of unearned privileges. This philosophy argues that true character is forged not in the lap of luxury, but through the experience of minor hardships, the understanding of scarcity, and the direct realization that reward must always be preceded by effort. The tension between these two opposing worldviews is precisely what makes the latest revelations from the entertainment world so utterly captivating, as it forces audiences to look into a mirror and question their own deeply held beliefs regarding family, money, and the true meaning of preparation for adulthood. As we look closer at the shifting paradigms of modern celebrity culture, we find ourselves tracing the evolution of individuals who first captured our collective imagination during the golden age of reality television in the early 2000s. This was a unique era that birthed the entirely new breed of celebrity, turning ordinary teenagers and young adults into household names almost overnight by broadcasting their unfiltered high school dramas, romantic entanglements, and affluent lifestyles into millions of living rooms across the country. The cultural impact of these early docuseries cannot be overstated, as they established the very foundation for the modern influencer economy and forever altered the media landscape. The young stars of that era grew up alongside their audience, transitioning from carefree, dramatic adolescents navigating the affluent coastal enclaves of California into mature business moguls, authors, podcasters, and parents. This transition from scripted reality drama to the profound realities of motherhood and business ownership represents a remarkable journey, one that adds a rich layer of context to the current controversies surrounding their parenting styles today. The transition from a youthful reality star to a multi-million-dollar business owner and matriarch requires a significant evolution in mindset, shifting from a focus on personal image and immediate gratification to long-term legacy and the development of sustainable values. When an individual achieves massive financial independence entirely through their own business acumen, creative ventures, and relentless work ethic, their relationship with money changes dramatically. They understand the exact cost of a dollar, the sleepless nights required to build a brand from scratch, and the immense discipline needed to maintain success in a brutally competitive industry. This self-made mentality often translates into a fierce desire to protect their children from the entitlement that so frequently plagues the next generation of wealthy families. It is this exact psychological blueprint that sets the stage for the dramatic and highly debated choices that are currently making headlines, as the public struggles to reconcile the image of a glamorous, wealthy icon with the strict, uncompromising boundaries she enforces within her own household, creating a fascinating narrative that continues to unfold in the public eye. The spotlight now falls directly on 39-year-old lifestyle mogul, reality television veteran, and self-made millionaire Kristin Cavallari, whose recent candid confessions regarding her parenting tactics have sent shockwaves through social media platforms and morning talk shows alike. As the founder of the wildly successful jewelry and home goods brand Uncommon James, Cavallari has successfully parlayed her early MTV fame from iconic shows like Laguna Beach and The Hills into a business empire that has driven her personal net worth to an estimated $30 million. With 3 children from her previous marriage to retired professional football player Jay Cutler, 14-year-old Camden, 12-year-old Jackson, and 10-year-old Sailor, she faces the monumental task of raising her family in the ultra-wealthy environment of Nashville, Tennessee. During a recent appearance on the popular podcast Aspire with Emma Grede, the independent entrepreneur ignited an intense global debate by revealing that when the family travels together on commercial airplanes, she sits comfortably in the luxurious first-class cabin, while her 3 growing children are intentionally relegated to the crowded rows of coach. This deliberate separation inside the aircraft cabin is not a matter of financial restriction, but rather a deeply calculated parenting philosophy designed to instill a harsh sense of reality in her offspring. Cavallari explained to a visibly stunned Emma Grede that her children are growing up in an incredibly fortunate and protected situation, and she feels an urgent responsibility to ensure they recognize the stark boundaries of wealth. In her own words, she wants them to fully understand that the millions of dollars funding their comfortable lives belong strictly to her, not to them. The television star emphasized that something as simple as making them fly coach while she enjoys first class became an important milestone that she eagerly implemented the exact moment they became old enough to navigate an airplane cabin independently. When the host suggested that it must be emotionally difficult to abandon her children to the back of the plane and withhold that level of premium comfort during long flights, Cavallari shot back without hesitation, stating that it is not difficult at all now that they are older. With a laugh that divided audiences across the internet, she recalled looking back at her kids and saying goodbye, telling them to go have fun in the back while she turns her back on them to enjoy the peace of first class. The immediate reaction to these statements online highlighted a deep cultural divide, with many critics labeling the move as needlessly cold, performative, and an unnecessary public humiliation of her own children on commercial flights. Detractors argue that if a parent can easily afford to keep their family together in a safe and comfortable environment, intentionally separating them to make a philosophical point borders on excessive. However, Cavallari remains completely unfazed by the public backlash, doubling down on her belief that these small, everyday boundaries are exactly what will make a massive, positive difference in her children's character over the long run. She clarified that when Camden, Jackson, and Sailor were much younger, she did sit with them in the main cabin, constantly dealing with the typical stresses of traveling with toddlers, mediating fights, and worrying about how they would behave during the flight. But now that they have matured into adolescence and preteens, she insists they are perfectly fine on their own, and that experiencing the reality of standard travel is a healthy, grounding experience that prevents them from developing a toxic sense of entitlement. To prove that her approach to parenting extends far beyond airplane seating arrangements, Cavallari shared further details about the strict financial environment she maintains at home. She stated firmly that her children do not simply get whatever they want just because their mother is a famous multi-millionaire, and if they desire money or expensive items, they are required to roll up their sleeves and work for it. To illustrate this point, she revealed that during a recent summer, both of her young boys were forced to launch their own small neighborhood businesses to earn their own pocket money. One of her sons spent his summer vacation washing the windows of local houses, while her other son was tasked with cleaning out people's dirty garbage cans in the neighborhood. Cavallari takes immense pride in these gritty summer jobs, asserting that if her children want something in life, they have to go out into the world, make it happen through physical labor, and understand the true value of an earned dollar. This uncompromising stance has turned her into a polarizing figure, with some praising her for raising hardworking, grounded individuals, while others view it as an extreme and unnecessary measure for a family with access to generational wealth. Adding another layer of complexity to this unfolding family dynamic is the reality of Cavallari's personal life and her co-parenting relationship with her ex-husband, former NFL quarterback Jay Cutler. The couple ended their high-profile 7-year marriage in 2020, a separation that was heavily covered by the media and finally finalized in 2022. Cavallari has publicly claimed that she receives absolutely no financial support or alimony from Cutler, and the former couple shares custody of their 3 children, with Cutler taking them every other weekend. This custody arrangement means the children frequently transition between 2 entirely different households and parenting styles, a situation that is further complicated by Cutler's own recent legal and personal troubles that have kept the family name in the headlines for all the wrong reasons. The 43-year-old retired athlete, who is currently engaged to his fiancée Samantha Robertson, made major waves in the news when he was forced to cut a plea deal stemming from a high-profile arrest involving driving under the influence and unlawful gun possession. The details of the incident revealed that Cutler's blood alcohol content was a staggering 3 times the legal limit, leading to the immediate suspension of his Tennessee driver's license for a full 12 months. The legal fallout from this dangerous incident was severe, resulting in the former football star spending 2 days inside a jail cell, being sentenced to a year of strict supervised probation, and being ordered to pay a financial fine. This stark contrast between Cavallari's hyper-disciplined focus on building her business empire and teaching her children restraint, and her ex-husband's highly publicized legal battles, creates a tense and dramatic backdrop to the family's public narrative, leaving audiences to wonder how these conflicting environments are truly impacting the minds of their 3 young children. The fascinating parenting choices of Kristin Cavallari do not exist in a vacuum, but rather reflect a growing and highly visible trend among a specific subset of Hollywood elites and ultra-wealthy individuals who are actively rewriting the rules of generational privilege. As the public continues to debate whether forcing children into coach is an act of brilliant parenting or a cold public stunt, it has become increasingly clear that Cavallari is far from alone in her uncompromising methods. This exact brand of tough love aviation parenting was thrust back into the media spotlight during a memorable broadcast of the late-night talk show Watch What Happens Live. During that appearance, television personality and singer Nick Lachey revealed a highly awkward and unexpected encounter he had with his famous ex-wife, pop icon Jessica Simpson. during a flight traveling from Los Angeles to the tropical island of Kauai. Lashley detailed that as he boarded the aircraft, he discovered that Simpson's 3 young children, all under the age of 14, were seated entirely by themselves in a separate class of the cabin, away from the premium luxury areas. This revelation sent a wave of validation through the celebrity parenting community, proving that the decision to draw a hard line at the curtain, separating first class from coach, is becoming a preferred strategy for wealthy parents determined to keep their kids grounded. To fully understand why this issue resonates so deeply with millions of people around the world, one must examine the incredible journey of Kristin Cavallari herself, a woman whose entire adult life has been defined by independence, reinvention, and a fierce determination to dictate her own narrative. Long before she was the CEO of a multi-million-dollar lifestyle brand or a strict mother enforcing household rules, she was a teenager thrust into the absolute center of the reality television boom. In the early 2000s, MTV launched Laguna Beach, The Real Orange County, a groundbreaking docuseries that followed a group of wealthy high school students navigating love, friendship, and adolescence betrayal in one of the most affluent communities in America. Cavallari instantly became the breakout star of the series, captivated by her unfiltered authenticity, sharp wit, and refusal to back down from conflict. She followed this massive success by joining the cast of the equally iconic spin-off series, The Hills, cementing her status as a permanent fixture in American pop culture. This early exposure to fame and the toxic allure of unearned attention provided her with a unique front-row education on the dangers of privilege, an experience that heavily shapes how she protects and guides her own children today, rather than allowing herself to be consumed by the fleeting nature of reality television fame. Cavallari made a conscious decision to pivot away from Hollywood drama and transform herself into a serious, highly respected business executive. She recognized that true security and long-term success could only be achieved by building something tangible, leading to the creation of Uncommon. By focusing her creative energy on designing jewelry, home goods, and beauty products that resonate with everyday women, she built a massive retail empire through sheer force of will, strategic marketing, and endless hours of hard work. This exhausting journey from a scrutinized reality star to a self-made corporate powerhouse is the very reason she holds such a fierce, protective attitude toward her finances. When she tells her children that the money funding their lives is hers and hers alone, she is speaking from a place of deep pride in the sacrifices she made to build her fortune from scratch. Her parenting philosophy is an intentional effort to pass down that exact same fire and work ethic to Camden, Jackson, Saylor, ensuring they do not grow up to be soft, entitled individuals who rely on their family name instead of their own capabilities. This unfolding saga highlights a massive cultural shift in how modern society views the concepts of family legacy, wealth distribution, and the true meaning of parental support. For decades, the ultimate goal of the American dream was to achieve enough financial success to completely shield one's children from the hardships and discomforts of the ordinary world, giving them every possible luxury and advantage from day one. However, the modern era has exposed the deep psychological flaws in that approach, as psychologists and family counselors increasingly warn about the damaging effects of sudden wealth and unchecked entitlement on developing minds. By intentionally introducing controlled elements of scarcity and discomfort into her children's lives, whether through commercial coach travel, window washing chores, or garbage can cleaning businesses, Cavallari is attempting to create a psychological balance. She is using her wealth to provide them with a world-class education and a safe home environment, while simultaneously using artificial boundaries to teach them the vital life skills of resilience, humility, and self-reliance. The long-term impact of this parenting experiment remains to be seen as Camden, Jackson, and Saylor continue to navigate their formative teenage years under the watchful eye of the public and within the contrasting environments of their divorced parents. What is undeniable, however, is that this conversation has forced a massive audience of viewers, parents, and cultural commentators to look closely at their own values and question what it truly means to set a child up for long-term success. It challenges the conventional belief that love is measured by the amount of material comfort a parent can provide, suggesting instead that the greatest gift a wealthy parent can give their children is the freedom to struggle, to fail, and to earn their own way in the world. As the family continues to journey together across the globe, with a wealthy mother resting in the quiet luxury of first class and her 3 children learning the realities of life in the rows behind her, the story stands as a vivid, unforgettable symbol of the modern struggle to balance immense privilege with the timeless values of hard work and human character.